Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Just Simply Sports here with me. I am Kaja, and if you're new here, I want you to please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're not new, you've been here, I appreciate your continued support. You guys, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown to me is someone who comes across a little bit as misunderstood. He's an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, now NBA champion. He's many things, has a long resume, highly accomplished, super intelligent, articulate, but he doesn't really go with the flow. Like he's one of those who I call a free thinker who likes to do things his way. He marches to the beat of his own drum, and I love that for him. But I feel like it's kind of caused him to get a bad rap. If you want to call it that, if you remember last year, there was a lot of controversy surrounding him. Stephen A. Smith, remember he made the comment about him not being marketable on First Take, and it came from an anonymous source when they were talking about Jaylen Brown during one of the segments and about why he didn't get the same opportunities as the Jason Tatums and the Anthony Edwards of the world. And that's what someone allegedly said, that he wasn't marketable. So it came with a whole huge backlash for both of them and state your source and all these different things. And I think it inspired Jaylen Brown to start his own brand. Now, he recently did an interview with Sports Illustrated that I feel like should be getting a lot more buzz than what it is. I'm going to play this clip, you guys, because he was dropping some major gems in that interview, and then we'll get back into it.
The industry has definitely cut back its funding and its resources towards athletes for whatever reason. The creativity has been a little bit dull. And, athletes' value isn't being reciprocated or respected in today's time, and it's shown. And a bunch of people's, inner conversations and things and dialogues that they have. Obviously, a few athletes are getting the luxuries of having great deals, but, you can list those few on both hands. As a conglomerate, especially in the NBA, that's not the case. So trying to create solutions or trying to create other ideas and show other athletes that you can take things into your own hand, create your own brands, create your own companies, etc., I think gives the power back to the athlete. And if you still want to go sign with Nike or Adidas, there's no problem with that. There's no issue with that. But the fact that those are the only options and they kind of dominate the market is a part of the frustration that has grown amongst. Because these are the options that you have, and they all kind of stick together, and they all give you the same kind of deal, and you have to accept it or not. Okay. If it doesn't work for you, then what?
Jaylen was dropping some gems in that interview, you guys. You cannot deny that no matter how you feel about him, he was dropping some gems. I love almost everything that he said. I feel like Jaylen Brown, for me, comes across as very direct. He seems to be very confident. He knows what he wants. He knows he's not afraid to go out and get it. More importantly, he's not afraid to speak his mind. Whether or not it's popular or it's not, he's gonna do what he feels is right for him, for the culture. And more importantly, he's not afraid to create his own path. And what I love the most about him is that he's not afraid to show others that they should not be afraid to do the same. I love what he said about trying to show athletes how to go about doing things a different way, because he's absolutely right. When you think about all the athletes in the NBA, it's over 450. There are only a small few, like he said, you can use like one hand, maybe two, that actually get opportunities, for endorsements, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, commercials, Gatorade and things of that nature. And if you're not one of those select few, then what do you do? What do you do? Now he's been blessed to have, and get that wonderful contract over 300 million, so he can afford to start his own brand. But even if you're someone who doesn't have, over 300 million on a contract, you still get paid pretty nicely. You know what I mean? So I wish that more athletes thought like this, because it would really challenge these major, sneaker brands and get rid of a lot of the politics behind, all the sneaker brands and whether or not you're marketable, or you are, you aren't, all these different things. If athletes really, 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 I always say this, if athletes really knew the power that they have, it would be so much different, really and truly. Nothing irks me more when I'm looking on First Take or watching ESPN and I see going across the screen. That Jamar Chase, for example, is sitting out or doing a sit in because he's not getting paid what he should rightfully be getting paid. Why are you begging almost to get paid what you rightfully deserve and have earned? Now, there are contracts, obviously, contracts are there for a reason, right? But when you get to a certain point and it's time for your contract to be renegotiated or you're up for renegotiation and you're somebody who produces at a high level consistently, I'm like, are we really serious? Like, why do we have to go through such lengths? Like, I'm not coming to practice, I'm not coming to OTAs. I'm like, those things shouldn't be. Now, for the NBA specifically, for those players who don't get paid as much, right? I'm like, you still get paid pretty decent, right? At least six figures. I wish that more athletes would take some money away, take some money out of that check and go invest it in themselves. Because if you had if you had a lot of NBA stars or even, just regular players, not even stars, if you want to call it that, that said, forget the Nikes, forget the Adidas. We're going to go ahead and create our own brand. You're taking money away. You're taking your power away because obviously that's how they make money. These brands make money off of NBA stars, NFL stars. That's how they keep their machinery working. They're making the money off of you. And then they want to tell you that you're not marketable, you're not likable, or whatever have you. And like Jaylen said, you do have fans. Everybody has a fan, a fan base. It's about getting the right marketing team behind you, getting the right product. There's so many ways of going about it. But if athletes as a whole would stop looking for the big shoe brands to want to sign them, to want to give them a deal, to know, and then they pay you a small portion of what they actually make. Let's not be fooled. You might make a lot of money, so it seems, but you got to pay taxes and everything else. But meanwhile, the owners and the investors are sitting there and they make the real money. Okay, let's not be fooled. The power is always in ownership, and I wish that other athletes thought more like that. I hope that more athletes do start thinking like that. This next generation, like Jaylen Brown spoke about, I think it's so important that we show them, like, you don't have to conform to what Nike says that you should be, or whether or not you're marketable or likable. You do have a market. There is a market for you. There are players that look up to you. When you hear a lot of these young players in high school, middle school talk about who they watched when they were younger, who they want to be like, there's always somebody who watches you, and it's your job, I feel like, when you have this kind of responsibility, this kind of power, to show them that they can do whatever they put their minds to. You don't have to have 300 million to make an impact, to start a brand. But I really wish, and I hope that this interview reaches more of the masses. I really hope that Jaylen Brown, and he's one person. Kyrie's another one who may not be popular, or marketable by, I guess, the Nike brand, standards, so to speak, but they are still marketable. It's about finding their market, and I really wish and I hope that we start supporting these independent athletes, so to speak. Like we support, independent artists. That's so much power and ownership, you guys. If you really have time, I encourage you. I couldn't play the whole thing here on my YouTube channel, but if you have time, I encourage you to go watch it. Let me know what you think about athletes taking their power back and starting their own brands. And really and truly, would you support Steph Curry if he had his own brand aside from Under Armour? If he said I'm going to have the Steph Curry brand, and name was completely different, and it wasn't under the under the umbrella, excuse me, you guys, of Under Armour, would you still buy it? There's so many great things, but I really wish that athletes thought more like Jaylen Brown and really hone in on their power and know that it lies within you. And these brands and these owners will have nothing at all if it was not for the players. Hands down, point blank and a period, no way around it. What do you guys think though? Do you agree with what he said? If not, let me know. And if you do, let me know that too.